Hello again, this is Professor Harper, and I've prepared a lecture concerning the United States Census Bureau website, probably the most useful tool that we have in our arsenal. The website has recently undergone some changes, some for the good, some for the not so good. So if you see up here, the main URL is www.census.gov. And if you scroll across the top, you can find a variety of information on people, on businesses. Geography is not something that you really have to worry about. Most of the material that we'll be worried about in this short lecture is with the data that is available. But if you scroll down the page, you'll find easy ways to access some of the data. Quick facts, an interactive map, which is interesting and useful in some respects and not so useful in others, but we'll get to that in just a second. It also has various informational census news. For example, a report that Texas cities lead the nation in population growth, that per student public education spending has actually decreased, how rural America is changing. You can also find a population finder with a hyperlink there. And also you'll see here what the current estimated US population is and the world population. But let's go through some of the numbers. Also, this bar is useful in terms of researching some of the information. So here's the US population. Here is the mobile app. Not sure that I'm quite ready for that on my iPhone. Also the economic census, which is quite useful. Some information about Memorial Day, which I'm recording it on that, and then the fact finder, which is a very useful tool, and some interactive things that the Census Bureau has added. I'm sure that you'll all be happy to hear that it's the International Year of Statistics, and that if you want to join the Facebook page. But let's go up here to the various data sets. Okay, I find the quick facts to be quite useful. I will click on that and I will come up with this graphic. I can easily select a state, Pennsylvania, and it will provide me with population in comparison with the United States, whites, blacks, people living in the same household, what the median value of the owner-occupied housing units are from 2007 to 2011. I can also find some quick business facts. So the private non-farm establishments, mainly businesses, the non-farm employment in all of Pennsylvania, the total land area in comparison with the United States. So some very good, useful facts about Pennsylvania. Now I'll go back to data and I will go to the American Fact Finder. Okay. Now I've already loaded the American Fact Finder. And what I can do here is I can enter Philadelphia. And it will come up again with the total population, a variety of useful information with respect to population, age, sex, race, households, housing, and also the community survey, which will provide me with employment, occupation, the way that people commute to work, the average time of the commute, which as you can see is pretty high at 31 minutes, the number of people who worked at home. It also can provide me with the type of industries and occupations that people have in Philadelphia. So for example, manufacturing is slightly up, but it has been in decline for quite a while. You'll see that educational services, healthcare, and social assistance is the largest area. Also, it will provide me with figures on government workers. So as you can see, a large percentage of the people in Philadelphia are government workers at 14%. It also gives me some incomes, so that of the total households, you can see that a significant number earn less than $10,000. You can see that the fewest number are those who earn $200,000 or more, and the median household income in terms of dollars. That means that there are 230 odd thousand people who earn more than that, and 230,000 people who earn less than that. Now the average or mean essentially takes the total amount of dollars and divides it by the population. So you can see that higher wage earners and lower wage earners, in this case higher wage earners, are going to skew that figure rather significantly. I can go down and take a look at one new area that they are adding but haven't quite done it for Philadelphia yet, is health insurance coverage, which is going to be important with respect to Obamacare when it comes into play. So that's what Pennsylvania, and it's Philadelphia County, which essentially is the same as the city of Philadelphia. Now, if I ever get lost, I can go back to the main page by clicking here, okay? And it will take me back to my original place, all right? Now, I'm going to go back to data, and I'm going to go to something called Easy Stats. And what Easy Stats provide me with, again, I can define by county, place, or congressional district, which is a little less useful, but perhaps in an election year it's fine. And I can look at financial, jobs, housing, people, and education. So let's take a look at Pennsylvania. I'm going to define by county. The drop-down menu comes up. I'm going to select Philadelphia County, and then I'm going to take a look at education. So I can have school enrollment by level of school for population 3 and over. Click on results, and it will provide me the level of school for the population 3 years and older in terms of the total population in Philadelphia. And it tells me that of the total whites in the population of Philadelphia, 76,475 are enrolled in school, college or graduate school. It also shows me that although the figures are fairly even for African Americans, blacks, and whites, the number of African Americans and blacks who are enrolled in school is significantly lower than that for the white population. It's important to keep in mind that you're going to have to create percentages. Raw numbers can be helpful, but percentages generally give us a better idea of how things work. Okay? So I'm going to go back to the home page. I'm going to go to Data, and then I can go specifically to the 2010 census, so that the census takes place every 10 years. Sometimes it takes several years for us to get the information available, but as you can see, we're doing fairly well in terms of the various profiles. So in terms of population, I'm going to go to Population Finder. I'm going to select Pennsylvania. And again, it will provide me with a variety of basic information about Pennsylvania. Okay. Now, one of the new things that they have added under Data are visualizations that can be useful, but they take a bit of patience because they take a long time to load. So I'm going to go to the interactive map. And I'm going to select one of these summaries, so total population. And it takes you through this fairly well in terms of what you need to do. So let me scroll up just a little bit. First of all, you need to search a specific location, select it, and then you can do a comparison, which is rather interesting. So I'm going to place Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, get started, and it gives me a map. Now, this isn't going to show up as well as I'd like it, but what you need to do is center the area that you are looking for. It renders a map. You select the area that you want, and it provides me with the overall population of Pennsylvania in this case. I'm going to go for Philadelphia. And I'm sorry, I have to select place over here. I'm going to take Philadelphia, put it in the center. Now it gives me the population of Philadelphia, 1.5 million. The percentage of various race groupings. Ethnicity is Hispanic, non-Hispanic. Age and sex should be gender, but that's not what they use. And then I can pick housing status, and it will provide me with housing status. Now, one thing that's interesting here is that I can compare these statistics with another location. So let's say I want to compare Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. I select Find. It takes a bit to render. I select Pittsburgh, put it in the center. And it will provide me with, again, similar statistics. Now these are raw numbers, so again you have to compare them with percentages because Pittsburgh is slightly larger, Pittsburgh is 5 times smaller than Philadelphia. So I can look at race, I can look at ethnicity, and you'll see Philadelphia here, Pittsburgh here, age and gender, Philadelphia here, Pittsburgh here. housing status, total housing, renter occupied, for sale. And I can continue to add other locations. I could add Chicago, I could add Kansas City, Missouri, and see how these basic figures compare. Now, I'm going to go back to Philadelphia because there is a use here in terms of getting specific information about areas of the city. Unfortunately, it's done by census tract and census block. So it may not exactly tell you what Germantown, for example, is, because it's going to go by census block or zip code. And if you're familiar with zip codes, I'm going to go with census tracts, and then I'm going to zoom out slightly. This gives me a census tract, and this one happens to be over in the west side of Philadelphia. But it doesn't really provide me with the type of specific information about Germantown, for example, that I might want. Because Germantown is actually in a variety of census tracts. So, for example, Shelton Avenue goes all the way through Germantown Avenue, which you can see here, but this is also part of Germantown. But I can see, for example, what the population of that census tract is. I can see the race breakdown, which is predominantly African American. I can see what the age and sex or gender in that particular census tract is. And this is useful in terms of breaking down various neighborhoods within the city of Philadelphia. I can also do a comparison with another location, and as you can see, it does provide me with the comparisons of Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, this particular tract. But again, I have to convert these into percentages for them to be meaningful. But it's a pretty cool new tool that they've added. Now, I'm going to go back to the main page. And there's one final thing that I want to look at. And it's a similar graphical representation called the County Business and Demographics. You can see the URL, and I'll provide that with you. And these are just kind of some interesting figures. So, for example, Philadelphia has the county has the 4th largest number of bars, and also Pittsburgh's on there as well. We don't make the top 10 daycare centers, but we do make, in terms of the state, we're number 5 on the number of auto repair shops. But you can select Explore the Map. Again, you have a menu similar to the other mapping that we had. You can select Pennsylvania, and it provides you with some basic economic data, which is somewhat useful in terms of comparisons. So that's a quick spin through the U.S. Census database. Have fun, and we'll talk to you next time online. Thanks very much.